Hi, my beautiful, wonderful attendees of the Everyday Women Summit. Welcome, Dusty. You're going to be our last interview. You're going to take us out of the summit. Yeah, which is fantastic because you really are like, I call myself the everydayest woman, but I'll put you right there beside me, navigating life and family and children and business building and self, faith, and kingdom work and trying to live in a really anchored state of service on a day-to-day basis, right? And you guys, like Dusty and I have known each other for a little over a year. We met in a Christian coaching certification program, and she's come off of social media, but she's gracing us through the summit by participating here. And so it's going to be an interesting set of responses to how her community's evolved. But all of that is just to say that I've missed her and I love her and I'm really thrilled. She's somebody I've been trying to close for a while in the podcast or in my funny ideas. So, you know, it speaks to the sisterhood and how we feed off of each other. And her and I have just chatted for an hour before hitting record. And I'm like, I'm all welpy and teary. We can blame menopause, or premenopause, but to me, it's just more really feeling the joy of my life. Even though things aren't perfect, which it doesn't exist, there's just so much anchored in purpose and joy in my day to day because of the women that I get to have in my circles. And so Dusty's one of them. And we just WhatsApped each other so we can stay in touch, respecting her boundaries and, having a link to one another, which is great. And I really appreciate that. So we've heard the intro a number of times and, just be reminded that you can try and do it by yourself. Go ahead. I'm not going to discourage that. I'm just going to continue to reiterate that when we team up and link arms with each other and we collaborate instead of compete, we all get further. And I mean, if you are a faith believer, you know that the kingdom is one. We're all here together, right? I was just listening to part of the Bible stories, and it's like it wasn't just for the Jews, it was for everybody. Go out and everybody. And so whatever your spirituality, you'll see the power of connection. And that's how we attract other people in our life to help us with our mission, which complements theirs. So to more formally and professionally introduce Dusty, you guys, this gorgeous creature in front of you is the one and only Dusty Alynn Zang, who is the founder of the Able Solutions Group, a ministry devoted to kingdom culture, family restoration, and spirit-led leadership. As a trauma-informed educator, speaker, and family culture advisor, Dusty equips leaders, organizations, and families to move from control to connection, to presence with each other, to meeting each other where they are so that you can feel safe as a child or spouse with who you are, and then work that into the family dynamic for the benefit of all, which then heals generational patterns with peace, with dignity, and with future legacy. She's blended her background in psychology and child development with faith and neurosomatics. Like, wow. And Dusty then uses all of this to help others create homes, classrooms, and communities that reflect heaven's design on earth. Peaceful, grounded, safe spaces for people to be who they are and be held in their healthy development. Gorgeous. So welcome, Dusty. Don't worry now. The floor is yours. You're going to do all the talking. I'm just going to answer the questions. I'm such a talker.
Thank you.
All right. So, my darling, the questions start with the circle. When you think about your community, family, friends, coworkers, people in your lives, who are your different circles and what makes them so important to you?
Well, thank you for that. And by the way, I thank you for that little reminder. I need to get on your calendar for your podcast
Oh,
because
yeah.
yes, it is coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, this is a testament of connection and
Mm-hmm.
community, and but not just any community, aligned community, and um God breathed community. And so I don't know who all is getting to watch or whatever, but I will speak from my space of my faith and things like that. So um my circles are, they're interesting, because I'm not on social media. But even when I was on social media, I had an online coaching community of people who were coaches, and um, that was my circle. And then I also have my family. I have my immediate family. I have my married extended family. I
Mm-hmm.
have my blended family, and
Mm-hmm.
then I have the family that I grew up with. My sister and things like that, mom. And then I have my coworkers,
Right.
and I'm a Girl Scout leader
Yeah.
for my daughter's troop. So I have that circle of moms. We're all home educating moms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another circle. And then my people, my tribe of people, um, you know, what do I think about them? It's so fascinating because some of them were circles that like I was put in. But now the circles that I have are the circles that I'm choosing to be in, or the ones that have withstood time.
Yeah.
Like my people, like I was sharing with you before, I met them all. I met them studying abroad in Australia when I was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one other who I met when I came back and I was in college in Oregon. None of that circle, none of those women live in the same state as me, but
Yeah.
yet we stay connected and we stay tethered to each other because they're my circle.
Yeah.
And they're like they would send me their fall decor,
Mm.
pictures of fall decor,
Right.
or the pictures of their children,
Yeah.
you know because they some of them are not even on social media themselves,
Right.
and that has really been great for me because my circle's not on social. My
Mm-hmm.
husband's not on socials,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have to rely on that for my circle.
Right.
um but then I don't have those people here with me, right? But I do have my Girl Scout leaders,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and even people at church. So I've never, I've always been the one that's always been like, do I just have like can I just have like a solid core group of friends? Can I just anchor into that solid group of friends? And when I think about it, I do have my solid group of friends. They're just all over and they know each other. They came
Yeah.
to my weddings. I was in their weddings.
Yeah.
You know, we have that exchange.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not geographically connected like that,
Yeah.
and still sometimes I long for like what would it be like? And that's not, I can't imagine it because
You don't know it
I
yet.
read it.
There's not a
It's not
version
it.
of that. Yeah.
But also we've almost been friends for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get to your 40s and your 50s, your friends typically are from when you were in college or in that
Yeah.
early adulthood, or when you have when you
Yeah.
start having children.
Yeah. Bring in people.
So my circle is just like, yeah, it's interesting, but yeah.
It sounds fulfilling, and you have your rock, and if somebody needed to fly out and support you in something, you would be able to call upon that. And what I love about that is it relaxes any kind of limitations on where we can get fulfilled from a deep sisterhood circle,
Hmm.
right? I mean, it is amazing to hug and to smell someone you love, but the second closest thing to that is just knowing that they're there, knowing that they're there at 3 a.m. or 6 p.m. or middle at, like, just that they are there is of a great comfort too. And that means, like you said, you can intentionally choose who's going to be around you with a little bit more flexibility because it's not limited by geographic range.
Right. And also like what was coming up for me too was like the Girl Scout moms
Yeah.
and that community. I created that community
Yeah.
realistically
Yeah.
because we started last year, and I went through 3 different iterations of co-leaders and
Hmm.
other troop members,
Hmm.
and we've landed on this third one. And I was able through that to say, here are the parameters of
Hmm.
this, and it's not to be exclusive, but like, because they would try to do multi-level troops, like a brownie and a daisy together.
Okay. Yeah. Mixing.
And I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And then they were like, try to get people who were not home educated. And I was like, no, we're not doing that,
Mm.
because we meet on Mondays at 10 a.m. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
allow that to be an enrichment course. And
Right.
all of the moms are home educating their kids. So they're
Right.
all interested in being
Right.
involved, and even some dads.
Yeah.
And some of them, 2 of them just had babies. One just had a baby, and then the other one had one a couple months back, coming together, giving them diapers, and then 3 of our girls have literally the 2nd of November, the 9th of November, and the 15th of November. 3 of our
Oh,
Girl Scouts all have birthday parties.
yeah.
So we're all going to birthday parties together.
Yeah.
But literally 6 months ago, none of us were in each other's lives.
Yeah.
And now here we are. But I had to go through the difficult time. I had to say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Hmm.
This is what this community, and that's what they want. They share the same goal and vision in mind. And it's like, yay.
Yeah.
And the girls are still figuring each other out, and they're learning like who do I drive with and things like that. And but it's like, we did that. Like, we're
Yeah.
doing that.
That's right. Building it
Yes.
intentionally together, which is a great segue then into how have you felt supported? It sounds like by curating the culture of the Girl Guide or the Girl Scout.
Scouts.
I always forget we're Girl Guides in Canada. Um, so how have you been getting supported as you do this, and where have you learned to allow support? Like, are those co-leaders now stepping into a greater leadership role for you? And what difference is that making in your life? Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? That has been so interesting, and that you said that, because the co-leader and I, we are, it's so fun because we do complement each other. I
Yeah.
am the social butterfly, and like, we did all, okay, I will say, we all met on Facebook. That's how I
Uh-huh.
found all of these ladies, was on
Uh-huh.
Facebook. But I got my girls and I got off. But
Yes.
we have Girl Scouts USA, and our council has people in place so that you can
Yeah.
say like, hey, help me out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, if we need help. But Rachel, she is just better at things that I'm not good at, like
Right.
organization, administration, things like that. I'm really good at the ideas, and
Yeah.
she's really good at putting them on paper and bringing them to life. And then
Mhm.
we work really well together, where it's like, there has been times where she's been like, I'm overwhelmed by this change, and I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
let's just pause. And then I can also say to her, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or she'll email me like, or text me, did you get that email? And
Mhm.
I'll be like, oh, I didn't get that email, thanks for telling, like.
Yeah.
And but at times, sometimes I can be like, feel like she's overstepping, to where it's like, I want to do that, but
Mhm.
then I have to stop and check and say, why do I want to be the one to
Mm.
do that?
Yeah.
Is that my role, or can she do it as well? And that.
Oh no. I think her computer died. Hold on. We're gonna pause. Great, we're back.
So is that okay for her to do? And if it's okay for her to do, then that's an issue with me, and
Yeah.
I can deal with that myself. But another thing is Halloween. Here's a great example: is we had Halloween, and some of our girls don't celebrate Halloween
Right.
for their cultural reasons. And so, but we didn't know that ahead of time, so we planned a Halloween party, and then we still had the Halloween party for the people who wanted to, and then we
Mhm.
didn't for those. And there was like no animosity or grudges or
Mm.
anything. Like, we just
kept on. And
Mhm.
it's so nice that like we're all in agreement of like how we want to show up
Yeah.
for ourselves and for our girls, and it's nice.
Dusty, the way I get so emotional. Side note, when I went to Mexico with my girlfriends in January 2024, there were seven of us, so we all got seven dwarf nicknames,
Aw.
our Mexico trip nicknames, and mine was Weepy because my heart is like always at the surface. So yeah, I guess I'm very embodied in my love
Well,
life.
last night, though, it happens to me too, especially like songs or music or
Right.
dances. And we love Dancing with the Stars. And I was watching this dance, and my daughter Izzy, she goes, Mom, are you about to start to cry? I was
Yeah.
like, no, not crying right now.
Kind of become the joke, right? Is she crying again? Yeah, I'm crying. But it's great to show the girls. Anyway, because the emotions are coming because I will have to pay attention, guys. You'll have watched all the interviews by now, right, audience? As to how this question gets answered. Because here's what I heard you say, Dusty. These are areas I am not as skilled in. And so I'm going to work with somebody who complements, and we're going to create a bigger whole, like a bigger whole, WHOLE, together by complementing each other. And this, again, is a big part of why we're focusing on community in this summit. It's not about trying to be everything and do everything ourselves. It's helping each other so that we can all shine in our zones of genius. And what an incredible way to receive and give at the same time. Dusty's
Yeah.
giving creativity, she's giving ideas and life, and Rachel's holding the structure to execute them. This is reciprocity, which is the fourth question, which we'll get to. So I just really want to let us absorb that because I really loved how you were answering that and what I was hearing in
Well,
the,
another thank you for that. But what comes up for me is just like there is scripture that talks about this, but if you even remove the scripture, we can't, our body
yeah,
has two eyes, two ears,
yeah,
one nose, one mouth, two
yeah,
hands. Like we don't have, and we have 2 feet. We don't have
yeah,
two sets of hands. We don't
yeah,
have two sets of feet.
yeah.
And you know, you do like when things happen, the body is incredible to where if you did lose something, your
Mhm,
other side can,
mhm,
compensate for it. But you also, but the point of it is it all serves a purpose.
mhm,
And we cannot usurp, the foot cannot usurp the hand's purpose,
mhm,
no matter how much it wants to.
mhm,
And, I work as a this is like, I've had to come to accept this. I work as a bartender, but I work at a fine dining, very high end steakhouse. And even so, the line of work I do, but I provide a service and I
yes,
provide hospitality.
yes,
And what I am good at is providing a hospitable experience,
yes,
a dining experience. My sommelier understands wine better than I ever could. So
yes.
I say, hey, he's your guy. Come sell
Mhm.
some wine. He sells me an $800 bottle of wine.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
He makes no commission off of that $800 bottle of wine. It's all mine, and he knows that.
Mm,
But he did that for me
mhm.
because for the guest. We
Yeah,
we share a common purpose of the
that's it.
guest, right?
But you're a team and you're supporting each other in that team to fill in the expertise gaps, the gift gaps, in order to create a nicer
And if I
experience.
knew, and sure,
Yeah,
there are servers who know the wine. They know
sure.
the wine, they can sell the wine, they completely leave out the sommelier. Good.
Mm,
That's fine for them if that's what they choose to do. I think, why do I need to burden myself with extra
yeah,
knowledge
yeah,
instead of just letting myself do what
yes,
I'm good at and letting
yes.
him do what he's good at? He's passionate about it. I'm not passionate
Yeah.
about it. Why should I break my back learning something when somebody else has already done it?
Very, very powerful. Stop trying to be everything everywhere all the time and stick to what you're good at.
And
Fill in the gaps
outsourcing
with
is a
others.
resource.
Yeah.
Outsourcing is a resource.
Yeah.
We are fully resourced. I am fully resourced with my sommelier. I am
Yeah.
fully resourced with my well bartender.
Yeah.
She is pumping out the drinks for me while I am cocktail serving.
Yeah.
I am fully resourced with my food runner. I'm
Yeah.
fully resourced. It's not all me being the
Yeah.
resource, but I'm
That's right.
fully resourced. And so I call on my resources.
Yeah. That is just sit in that for a second, guys. Where are you cutting off resources that are there for you? Dusty, that was a very beautifully described way of thinking of our lives, be it business, home life, work, other elements, even Girl Guides, right? Girl Scouts. So it sounds like you have a good awareness of yourself, your gifts, and where you can contribute. Where is your community reflecting back who you're becoming? Has it been the people closest to you, your pack of five women? Or are you surprised by who knows you best or what version of you comes out in different communities? What's your
So I
community reflecting to you?
I wanted to address that piece because the version of me that circles like my family. Like
Mhm.
I'm a blended family, and the versions of me that my step siblings have or that their wives have is not the version of me that my best friend in New York City or my best friend in Pittsburgh or my best friend in Albuquerque
Yeah,
has of me.
yeah,
Because they, or my best friend in Washington State has of me. They have all been with me through all iterations. We have been with each other
yeah.
through all iterations. And so I, whenever I talk to my friend Vanessa, she'll be like, I could literally listen to you talk all day. She was like,
Mm,
she was the reason why I got a podcast because she told me I need a
mm,
podcast. And I just love that because she would always reflect that back to me, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So the versions of me, and then the versions of me that I work at the coworkers, my
Mhm,
coworkers, some of them, their version is that I don't care enough about the restaurant or that I
mhm,
don't care enough about that because I have my own thing going is what they'll always be like. You have your own thing going, right? And I'm like, yeah,
mhm.
but so that has caused, some little bit of like, I do care.
Yeah,
I do care. And also, I'm not pursuing a position of leadership at a restaurant. That doesn't mean I don't care.
yeah.
So then I can also reflect back to them that I do care, and what I'm good at is providing a nice dining experience for
Mhm,
somebody. And not like the world is not, how do I say, everything's not on fire all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
And I think sometimes in that specific kind of line of work, everything is always on fire. And if you're so used to always putting out fires, then
Mhm,
you come from a position of, I got to put out fires all the time.
mhm.
I don't live like that. Like, that's not how I live. I don't, so that energy can sometimes be like, why don't you care more? But it's like, I do care. I
Yeah,
care about things that matter.
yeah, yeah.
I care about things that matter. So, um, but then I have these conversations with my coworkers who know me.
Right.
They know me and they know that I care. And then the coworkers who don't know me, they don't, they think, oh,
Mhm,
so it's interesting that you say that because you can, they will say perspective is reality. And so to that person, maybe I don't care that much. But if you took the time to have a conversation with me or to watch me interact with my guests
yeah,
or read my reviews,
yeah.
you would know that I do care, but my skill set is not describing the food.
Hmm.
My skill set is getting to know you as a person and hearing your
Hmm.
story and sharing my story and,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So this is nice. You have ways to express different parts of you in different spaces, and a group that knows all of you and continues to pour into you, so you become even more of who you're meant to be or who you are, right? And wanting to release.
Well, and also I think another thing that's coming to me as you're saying that is that that there are people who the version of me doesn't sit well with them anymore
Yeah.
because of who they are.
Yeah.
And that's really where I'm at because I will never fully be seen by certain people. I
Yeah.
will never fully be seen by most of my family. Most of my husband's family will never fully see me and
Hmm.
the full version of me. Even when I do go on stage, even when I do get a print ad in the new magazine, they're going to see me and they're going to be like, who does she think she is?
Right.
They're going to be like, did you, oh, she's a speaker? Okay. They're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There will be people who will never see me. I have had to grieve that. And even now, I'm like, that sucks that they will never see me. But I have people who will see me, who do see me, and I'm showing up for them.
Yeah.
I'm not showing up for the version of me that you thought that needs to show up.
I'm like reveling in the depth of this conversation, because you're touching on uh, like rising above what certain communities are reflecting back their perception of you, and knowing where to find the right support and people who will believe in you to help you believe in yourself more as you grow, and then shedding off ones that don't fit anymore. Like that's the whole point of the journey, is the permission and the safety to do it anyway, and like you've been saying, to be aligned with the right people that you can do it with.
Well, and see, another thing that came up for me was another circle of people that I shared with you before we recorded was Alpha. Alpha is a group
Yeah.
it's a discipleship ministry. It's all over the world. It started in England. And I had a guy reflect back to me,
Yeah.
actually two different people reflect back to me that I have a gift, that it is needed. You need to keep showing up. Like I had this one lady say, don't stop
Yeah.
trying, they clearly need you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they may need me, but it might not be the time. You know what I mean? Like we're all having inner
Mhm.
dialogue
Of
while
course.
outside things are happening. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
Lord is working through us. We can't just, it's all a discernment piece. It's all a discernment piece. But when they reflected that back to me, my eyebrow like rose up just like a little bit,
Yeah.
because it was like that person seeing me,
Hmm.
that's cool.
Hmm.
That person sees me.
And like a part of you that's inside but hasn't really been touched yet,
Yeah.
you know?
It was so weird because so many people can say, oh, you have a gift or, oh,
Sure.
but it's like to be seen
Yeah.
and to be caught off guard by that. It's like, okay, it, I don't need to be seen by that person because I do get excluded a lot from my husband's family's
Hmm.
things. But then when I really sit there and think about it, it's like it's a protection for me. And
Hmm.
also, why do you want to force being seen when somebody over here, you don't have to force anything at all. All you have to do is show up, be who
Yeah.
you were, continuing to show up, and then they saw you.
Yeah.
So that's the human condition, I guess.
Well, it leads into the reciprocity of how we can be that to others, and be finding the right alignments to show up for community, to help people kind of behave and connect in these ways. So what does that look like for you? You've mentioned um, a few different, with Girl Scouts and the churches and this sort of thing. And in your business with the Able Solutions Group, what does showing up for others in community look and feel like for you?
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a great if I'm understanding your question correctly, um I this is not meant to sound arrogant. I serve a lot. I over deliver a lot just
Mhm.
because I give what I give. And
Yeah.
like one of my friends, the friends who's in Pittsburgh, she's like, Dusty, you give stuff away for free too much. You need to start
Mm,
charging people. And I'm like, it's
mm,
okay because that's just how it is. You know what I mean? But then there needs to be boundaries, of course. So um I had a meeting yesterday with a potential partnership with somebody who I have not even seen or talked to in 20 years. And it is so perfect because, again, she is a person who can do the admin piece. She has a desire and the capacity to do the infrastructure piece.
mhm,
And oh, it just fell in my lap. Like
mhm,
this infrastructure thing fell in my lap. I have been looking and praying and begging and forcing and trying to find this. And I don't know, we haven't partnered together yet, but she is like, I want to do this. I want to give you a place for you to have your monthly trainings for free.
mhm.
I want to be that for you. And I'm like, great. I want you to be that for me too.
Yeah.
But
So
it's just so cool because the answer to that is how am I your question was how am I showing up to serve?
no,
Or
it's the reciprocity. Like here's what the community is giving us. Our community is giving us this, and here's how we're, sharing it back to hold that cycle because it's never a one-way street, right? We're not here
right,
to just receive, receive, receive.
right.
And it's been threaded through our entire conversation of where you're giving back. But if there's
Yeah.
anything else that you'd want to add about how are you a leader in your community to create more of your ideal community?
Well, honestly, I'm creating the life that I wish existed because it
Yeah.
hasn't been there for me. Like I was a Girl Scout and all until I was 18 and I didn't understand what all goes into it. It is a full-time job. It
Yep.
is a legit full-time job.
Hmm.
And but it's true. Everything I attribute, or not everything, a lot of who I am, I attribute to my time because it taught me to be an entrepreneur. It taught me how to be
Hmm.
cool, good to people, take care
Hmm.
of my world, take care of
Hmm.
other, elders, community, all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching my daughter and all those other girls those too. Another cool thing about that community is my co-leader is non-religious.
Hmm.
And I am a faithful believer in Jesus Christ. There's seven of us, and of the seven, another mom, she doesn't know what she believes. She's searching. And then there's other ones who do believe and go to church and practice. And so we get to create that safe space for our girls to be who they are because there's something called American Heritage, which is solely Christ centered. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want my daughter to learn, And so I'm getting, this is what's coming to me. Rachel and I had a conversation about the Girl Scout law and the Girl Scout promise because it says we will honor God and our country. And there is an asterisk by it, and it says you can swap out God or you can interpret that. And she saw somewhere that some people have just taken it all out together. And I said, but here's the thing, taking it all out
Hmm.
altogether maybe feels safe for one person, but doesn't feel safe maybe for the person who does find comfort in God.
Yeah.
So she and I had this conversation back and forth about it, and we're going to leave it as it is. But we want, we, by having that conversation, we are living out what we want our girls to live out, which is safe space, conversation, connection, and understanding and seeing each other,
Yeah.
and it was such a beautiful conversation and helped us understand each other, because I love that. I'm like, we're all choosing, we all share commonalities, and then we
Hmm.
also share differences,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day we want the same thing for community
Yeah.
together, and that is so cool.
That um, expertly describes your influence in your community, because that's what you're doing. That's how you're leading your community. You're being the example, and you're fully embodied in your values, and you're acting and like positively influencing the space around you to create more of that without a personal agenda, right? This isn't about conversion, it's
Right.
about openness and
Yeah.
opportunity, and like acceptance, which I think is the A in able, right?
Well, A is awareness. So
Awareness. Okay.
awareness, but and then it's belief, leadership, and embodiment. And
Yeah.
all of that is like, um some of us may not even be aware
Yeah.
of things, and then if we are aware, then we are we can believe, we can lead, and we lead by our leading ourselves, and then we embody. And I have been going through the able method myself,
Yeah.
just by just by life.
Yeah.
And I'm in that embodiment piece right now. And the leadership and the they kind of intersect, because we're constantly growing,
Hmm.
and evolving, or we should be. We should be constantly growing and evolving. And if we lead ourselves first, and if
Yeah.
we notice, if we are aware, and then we believe, okay, there needs to be a change, then we can lead and we can create, and then we can embody that.
That's right. It's a good foundation for showing up in community as a leader and giving back. I love that.
I love it, and it came to me from God. It actually
Yeah.
came to me from um ableism, and like me
Mm.
being anti-ableism, and I was like really kind of angry. I was just like,
Okay.
higher education is all ableist, and diagnosing is all ableist. And then I was like, able,
Mm.
and then I was like, acronym, so it just like kind of all, but it was me sitting and allowing that to happen,
Mhm.
and because you can have the awareness. I could have had the awareness about the able thing, but I may not have had the belief, or I may not have had the leadership to lead myself, and
Yeah.
and the leadership, leading yourself. I'm creating this. I'm
Mhm.
creating this, let me like this. For me, it's like, okay, a lot of people have bad ideas about Girl Scouts, because they think whatever they think.
Whatever they think.
And then you've got the American heritage that's all Christian based, and I'm like, and kind of nationalistic, and I'm like, no, no, you can love your God and country,
Hmm.
and also be a Girl Scout. I'm going to show you how.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. So, Dusty, this is great to bring it all together into the last question of why we need each other. And at the heart of it all, why do you believe that community is necessary for women, especially us everyday women, in order to thrive?
Well, we were created for community. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Especially women. We are the community. Like, we were, when our men were out hunting, we were together. We
Mhm.
were together. We are the heartbeat of culture, society. Like, Um, and that's what's so beautiful about sisterhood and being a woman is that we do have that natural inclination to community. And so I feel like we're good at it naturally just because, and maybe some of us aren't. I don't know. But um what's coming up for me is at work, we had a guy who was also not a believer, but he was a guy and he was the lead bartender. He was a mixologist.
Yep.
He left, and my friend got the part, and
Mhm.
we go to the same church, and
Mhm.
but since she stepped in, the morale of the bar got better, the organization got better, the communication got better. I was like, this is why women run the world. This is why girls run the world. I was like, we needed you. And she would say, when we got new people in for this season, she's got a good attitude. If she, all I need is a good attitude.
Mhm.
And we're all women. We're
Yeah.
all women.
Yeah.
And we can all work well together, and working with a group of women, there's stuff that comes with that, like, of course, but it is required for our lifeblood. Like, it is in our lifeblood. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. To help each other, to step in, to carry the weight when someone needs it, to give, to give, to give, but ladies, to receive as well. And learning to receive helps um, the system, if you will, work the way it's meant to, right? It's
what
gotta, it's gotta go around.
what just came up for me actually was was what I was telling you in our conversation before. I needed to learn how to receive friendship. I needed to learn how to receive that gift. And I struggled with that.
Mhm.
Uh I struggled with uh and mind you, most of these women who are my friends to this day who reach out to me, when we were 20, they were not the ones pursuing me.
Mm.
When we were 25, they weren't. I mean, there was some reciprocity, don't get me wrong, but when you're living in Singapore or whatever, it's hard to have that kind of communication. But since being off socials and having my girls reach out to me, I have been able to receive that gift. And for Rachel saying, "Hey, I got that. I'll lead this meeting."
Yeah.
I can receive that as a gift,
Yeah.
not as a taking it away from me, but as a gift. And so I'm learning that. I'm learning how to receive that.
Yeah. That's beautiful and necessary, right?
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
crazy. Because I've always been like, I'm such a good friend. I'm such a good friend. And I felt like, why don't I have good friends? And then God showed me, you do have good friends. You have to let the good ones come to you
Mm.
and stop trying for the ones that aren't good, whatever, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Amazing. So rich, Dusty. I could not love this more. I'm so thrilled that this is what's taking us out of the summit. And I'll just make a closing remark wherever you're watching this interview in the future, no big deal. But as the last one, the summit doesn't close, it's not over, it's ongoing and a growing community that extends into 2026. And so fret not about Sunday night coming, access will not be taken away. We're here together holistically and safely and ongoingly. So, Dusty, is there anywhere that we can follow you, want us to get in your email list if we want to stay in your space podcast?
Sure. So, right now my podcast is the Neurodiverse Parent. It may stay the same. You can always email me at support@ablesolutionsgroup.org.
Okay.
The website is ablesolutionsgroup.org. I do have social medias, Dusti Zang. I'm not on them right now, but if you stay tuned, I might come back on. And also, I wanted to say to you, Mia, thank you so much for your grace. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship, your sisterhood, your grace, your patience, just everything. I love you so much.
Thanks. I'm receiving it all. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, it's my
yeah.
honor. Okay, Dusty.
Okay. Well,
Bye,
thank
all.
you.